Welcome everybody to webinar number 9 for Xofu. Thank you all for being here. And for those of you that can't or that couldn't attend, we always post these webinars on YouTube. And we also post all of the newsletter content on our blog as well. And we also embed that video. So we have some cool updates for our users regarding prompt management and weekly Xofu project updates as well. As always, we'd love any and all feedback you may have about these updates or anything else related to Xofu and LLM visibility. If you want to just chat about how your company is doing or how your brand is being perceived by LLMs, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Please hit us up at info@xofu.com. But without further ado, take it away, Luke.
Okay, so to get started, let's talk about some of the new updates that have rolled out this week. Let's start with the weekly summary report that is delivered by email every Monday. Can you see my screen? Just making sure. All right, so every Monday, this is a new feature that we've rolled out for all users of the tool. So even if you are a free user and you've set up a brand project, you can do this as well. Every Monday, you'll be getting a weekly summary report summarizing the changes over the past week in your most recent project runs. So the top section up here is brand visibility. As a quick refresher, brand visibility is the primary score that we track inside of your project. It determines the visibility score for your brand entity as it appears in the response text. So this score is most directly related to your brand's name appearing in LLM responses. And this is the score that we assign to your brand on every run. We'll show you how it's changing week over week, and we'll show you how that's split up between the 5 different models that we're tracking inside of the tool. Next, we have share of voice. This is the share of all brand mentions in the responses. It is a subset of the total brand visibility score, and we'll show this here as well. Below that, we have a citation breakdown. So this is when search capabilities and LLMs are citing your website, which we are also tracking. We will tell you every week how many times your website is being cited in the LLM responses, and if there are any new pages that are being cited for the first time in the most recent runs of your project from your website, we'll show what those pages are here as well. Below that, we have prompt movement. So we're going to show you your biggest gains and your biggest drops across the prompt set that you're tracking in Xofu. We'll show you which prompts have seen the biggest movement in their scores over the past week. If there's any interesting competitive movement from one of the competitor brand entities that you're tracking in your project, we'll show that off here as well in the competitive movement section. And then lastly, we have event impact. This is an optional section that will only appear if you are using the new event benchmarking tool that we showed on our last webinar. To quickly go over that again, if we go over here to project settings, we have these timeline events that you can enable or disable for your project. And these are events that you can add to any time series across the entire dashboard by clicking this add event button. And you can track whenever you have site updates, or maybe you've updated your Wikipedia page, things like that. And you can place those as little benchmark markers on your time series graphs and then look at how scores change on the following runs. All of that is to say that in this weekly summary report, those events that you're tracking inside of the tool will show up here, and you can see how visibility scores have changed for those particular events after the date that you marked them on the time series. There's a little button down here at the bottom to see the most recent run from your project, and that concludes everything that's contained in this email. Once again, you can enable or disable this from the settings of your project. When you're first starting a project in Xofu, this will be turned on by default, but you can also turn that off at the same time when you create the project if you'd like to. So getting into the next new update, we have overhauled the prompt management screen. So this is one of the sidebar tabs when you're inside of the project dashboard, and this is where you will manage the actual prompt set that we are tracking week over week in your project. So when you first create the project, you might generate a prompt set and then later decide that I want to remove some of the prompts, add new prompts, update the text on some of the prompts, and all of that can be done here. So we have all of the prompts grouped by the tags that we've assigned to them. So these are the different categories. We can also sort by the URL that was used to generate these prompts. If a URL was used to generate the prompts in our standard workflow. We can also remove the grouping and just look at all of the prompts together in a single list. And that's particularly useful for the new visibility score badges that we've added to this section of the dashboard. So now for each tag and for each individual prompt, we're showing the most recent visibility score as well as any movement that we've seen. And up here on this little dropdown, you can actually sort the prompts from visibility high to low, visibility low to high, to look at all of the lowest scoring prompts first. And what that might be useful for is if you want to choose some prompts that maybe aren't tracking worthy and replace them with new prompts that you've designed. A good way to find prompts that aren't tracking worthy is to review the prompts where you're not seeing any visibility or any movement and decide if you would really expect your brand to be showing up for those tracked prompts, especially if those prompts were auto-generated by our platform. So that's what this visibility tracking here is for. We've also made it much easier to export and copy and paste prompts from this screen. So now all of these prompts have little checkboxes by them, and when you select them, you'll see this little bar appear at the bottom of the screen, and you can copy the selection of prompts that you've selected. You can also move these prompts between tags. So these 3 prompts fall under the corporate card tag, but if you wanted to move them to a different one or create an entirely new tag, you could use this field here to do that. You can also delete prompts from this bar as well. And when you go to delete prompts from this screen, there will be a confirmation modal, so you have one last chance to decide that you really want to delete them. But all of the prompts can be selected. You can select larger groups using these top checkboxes and then copy those. We also have a convenient copy all button up at the top here, as well as an export. So if you wanted to export some or all of the prompts to a CSV file and work with those prompts outside of the tool, you can do that here too. Lastly, on this screen, we have introduced some more ways to add prompts rather than just typing them each in one by one, which is what you used to have to do on this page. You can now paste many prompts into this text field at once if you still want to add them using a text field. You can also generate more prompts from your project from a URL, so you're no longer limited to doing this only when you're first starting a project. Let's say you're tracking 3 URLs from your website using Xofu. You could find more URLs from your site and enter those URLs here. We'll generate 10 prompts for each URL, and you can review them, edit them, and decide which ones you want to add to the project. Lastly, our project creation process also offers the option to upload prompts using a CSV. Maybe you've developed the prompts yourself outside of the tool and you'd like to import them all in at once. This is what the upload CSV option is for, and you can add optional tag and URL columns if you'd like to auto tag or automatically associate those prompts with a URL that you're tracking as well. So we have the new generate from URL and file upload options here as different methods for you to add prompts to your project after you've started it. So that's all for the brand new features in Xofu. One last thing that we'd like to do today, because we've rolled out a lot of updates over the past few months, is we want to go back to the project creation process and review how anyone can start a project in Xofu with a free account. So starting from the outer dashboard page, if you log into our platform, sign up, and then click on this dashboard button in the top right, you'll land on this page that has all of your Xofu projects. And if you don't have a Xofu project yet, you can click this blue button that says New Project, and that will take you to the screen where you can officially start a brand new project in Xofu. So what this screen is for is it's to generate or upload the prompts that you want to track over time. That's the entire goal of our brand project process. Is you're going to decide the prompt set that you want to track, and then we will look for mentions and citations week over week and track all sorts of metrics and visibility benchmarks that you can use when we're running those prompts over time. So we have 3 different ways of loading prompts into your project. These first 2, we will auto-generate them for you, and this last one is a custom file upload option. But to go a little deeper, our preferred method is the start from URL option. So you can upload your homepage URL from your website, or you can upload a more specific, granular, maybe a feature page or a support page from your website. And what we will do is we will look at the content that's on the page that you uploaded and use that content to generate prompts that we expect will lead to citations of that page. So the hypothesis there is we believe your page is answering these 10 prompts, and now we want to track the visibility and the citability of your page to make sure that that's true. So you'll enter a URL here in the search bar. This will load for a moment while we generate your prompts, and then you'll see this project prompts section of the page populate. These are all prompts that were generated from the Toyota homepage, just to serve as an example. But you'll see this URL badge whenever a prompt has been generated from a particular URL. This also gives you a goal or a expectation to look after, so you can take different pages from your website and compare them in terms of citability and citation health, and then in turn visibility as well. So it gives you a clear goal whenever you create the prompt set is you want to take different pages from your website and see where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are in terms of particular features that you've created pages for on your website. And that's why this is our preferred method. If you'd like to do something a bit more top level, more brand name focused, we also have the start from brand option. You just enter your brand name into this field and generate the prompts. And these are more canned prompts where we just identify some key features of your brand name. We don't actually crawl your website, but we just use your brand and the key features to generate 10 prompts to ask about brands in your space based on features that we believe are related. So rank the top vehicle brands by their engine performance. These prompts are a lot more generic. They're focused on eliciting brand names, and they're much more high level. It's just to get a good idea of which brands are most likely to show up when you ask very general questions about your industry. The last option here is start from file. And when you start from a file, you'll be able to choose a file here and upload a CSV. To show you an example of what that CSV should look like, the only column that is required in your CSV is the prompts column. So as long as you include this prompts column with some prompts underneath it, you can use this option to upload prompts to your project. Two optional columns that you can use are the tag and the URL. So as long as you add these two columns, you can assign tags and their associated URLs from your website if you'd like to the prompts as well. And those will surface here. You can see the different tags are being used to separate the prompts here. And the URLs are associated as well. So once you've uploaded all of your prompts or you've generated them using one of these two other options, you can go down here to the project prompt section and review them. You can change the text on any of these prompts with minor tweaks using the pencil icon here. You can also select any number of these prompts, and let's say we wanted to move them to a different tag or create an entirely new tag. You can scroll up here to this set tag field and type a new tag and hit apply to selected, and you'll see these prompts get split off into the new category. So this is the way of assigning your prompts to different buckets. These buckets are divided up in the dashboard, so you can view how one bucket is performing compared to a different one. So it's an organizational tool that you can use to tag your prompts here. Lastly, you can enter brand new prompts down here in this field, or you can paste multiple lines to add many at once. And if you select any number of these prompts, you can also delete them with this button here. Once you're finished designing the prompts, you can proceed to the brand info section. So whenever you use the URL or the brand versions of prompt creation, we will try to identify some of this information for you. So we will pre-populate the brand name field with Toyota. We'll find your homepage, stuff like that. But whenever you use the file upload option, obviously that's not here for you. So you'll need to enter this information yourself. Enter this information here, and you'll come down to the competitors section. And you can add any number of competitors to your project here. You can enter these one at a time, or you can click this Browse Competitors from Other Projects button and find competitors from other projects that you may have already created. So if you wanted to add all of these competitors at once, that's something you can do here instead of entering them one by one. And lastly, we'll proceed to project activation. There are a few final things that you can toggle here. We offer sentiment tracking as a secondary form of tracking in addition to the main tracking that we do for visibility and citations. If you enable sentiment tracking, we will generate a smaller secondary set of prompts based on 10 auto-generated features. So when we track sentiment, we're not looking for brand mentions. We're explicitly asking the LLM about your brand with respect to each of these features that get listed here, and we're ranking the sentiment with which the LLM models talk about your brand with respect to those features. You can delete the features here and add new features if you'd like, or you can regenerate them until you find a set that you'd like to track sentiment for. Lastly, at the beginning of this segment, we talked about how we're emailing you a weekly summary report now. If you'd prefer not to receive those reports, you can uncheck this box right here and you will not receive them. But once you've finalized this section as well, that's the last step to creating a project. You can click on the Activate Project button right here, and your project will start and run for the very first time. You'll see this confirmation box to tell you that everything was successful, and you can return to the dashboard and see that the new project has started and is going to be running. You'll receive an email notification when this completes, and then the project will continue to run again and again, week over week. And that concludes how you start a project. Once the project run is complete, you can click Open Project on any of these, and it will take you to the full dashboard view of your project. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, Luke. And that's, yeah, especially that I'm loving how that email's looking, and the new prompt management screen gives us a lot more flexibility than we previously had before. And if you do have any feedback on some of the new stuff that you've seen here today, please let us know. Any improvements to what we've already done, yeah, we're happy to hear the feedback for that. One thing that I did want to mention that we mentioned last month is custom reporting dashboards are here. So we would love to talk to you about how these reporting dashboards can support your unique C-suite's perspective, create your own testing environments. You can hook up webmaster tools and external leads all in one place. You can design and implement citation optimization to improve your AI visibility and citability across LLMs. This does require a 6-month minimum consultative service, but it is the dashboard itself is a much richer perspective on AI visibility as a whole and the entire pipeline that your company has. So I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that. Also did want to remind everybody that our latest webinar is going to be on August 25th. That's also going to be a Tuesday. And again, I mentioned this at the beginning. Anybody that's not able to attend these webinars, we always post these on YouTube. We always embed them into our blog content, and we'll be publishing that a little later this week. And again, if you have any feedback or just want to chat with us about LLM visibility, we'd love to hear from you. Please email us at info@xofu.com. Otherwise, we will see you next month. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.